Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Panorama Suite overview of all the new features that are coming in version 2022. So this morning, your presenters are myself, James Burgess. I'm the sales manager here in the UK, and also with me is Chris Cox, our business development and technical manager. So the agenda for this morning is to run through the main innovations for Panorama Suite 2022. They are namely strengthening the sustainability of the platform and therefore your assets, enhancing connectivity between systems, which will hopefully address the digital transformation challenges of yourself and your customers. And then we're hoping to bring you new ways to use SCADA to support your innovations, to offer different ways with different technology to address the challenges of your users. So the innovations will focus around our new eSupport website, the WebHMI full web, edge to service, and then under the hood, we've got some other changes in archiving, cybersecurity, some internal and external communications, but also a feature in Voip and alerting. So what's new in the internal Panorama customer portal? So we're doing away with a complete redesign of the old technical website. And the idea behind that is that it's a nicer, user-friendly customer portal that we're going to have as a mainstay for ongoing, really. You can see the my.codra.net. That is the website for you to go to. You've all got access to that now. And if you haven't, contact me. But the portal area is going to have a number of things. You've got an area to download all the Panorama versions with all the downloads, third-party access to software. Contracts and licenses will all be stored there. It'll be a place for all technical resources, such as this webinar, frequently asked questions. We've also moved the CSIRT function from the main website, which was where you'd get security bulletins and report them, and we put that into the portal. And then you'll also have the opportunity as a leader of the profile management system in the portal to allocate who in your team you would like to also be able to use it, what type of clearance they've got, what they're allowed to do. And also significantly, we've got a secure sharing space. So the idea behind that is, say if you wanted to send to the technical team an application, you could do that. You could download licenses from there in the future. It's going to be one of the main places that we're going to use to basically interact with you, the customer. So the new services that are available right now, support tickets are all going to be handled through there. So if you do have support tickets, you won't be using the email. You'll be using the customer portal from now on. You'll be able to interact directly with our support team. They'll be able to manage all your support tickets in one single place. It'll give you access to technical resources, essentially according to your PWA level. So if you're supported, you'll have full access. You'll be able to view all your historical Panorama contracts and all your licenses. So we're hoping that that can be more of a proactive thing where you can see if an end user has a particular version and whether it would be ideal to move them forward to the new version. We're hoping that giving you the information will also give you the power to make that decision. And then in the future, it'll be a place for things like templates and samples as a bit of a sandbox area for us to share best practice. So this is what the customer portal looks like. So you can see across the top there, you've got versions and downloads, contracts and licenses, the open support cases, resources, the CSRT function, like I mentioned, the ability to manage rights, as in the user profiles, and also the shared space. So the benefits of them are threefold. The idea is that we'll be able to give you autonomy to find info and resources on your own without the need to send, single emails or contact people. You'll be able to do that all yourself. It'll be a more centralized area for information and basically just a cleaner way to manage the interaction between us and yourselves. And then the main point is we're hoping that it's going to provide time savings for everybody.
Panorama Edge to Service brings cloud technology computing to OT systems. But we call it edge to service because it's not necessarily using an open cloud. It could be just using edge technologies and using the cloud technology services inside your own organization. The reasons for us doing this is, first of all, to centralize the asset management and to bring a secure solution in order to do this using IT technologies. This, in turn, reduces deployment and maintenance costs because you can manage these from a central location. You don't have to keep going to site. And yet you can still use all the lovely things that you like about Panorama, so that it's object-oriented models and the efficiency of deploying using the deployment tool, which has now been enhanced for the edge to service architectures. The idea of edge to service is that you would put the SCADA services, the data collection, the data processing, closer to where the data acquisition is. So instead of doing long line application, you do short line application. And then you would make that available by using an MQTT backbone to a central service. So in order to help things and along the way, you can use a shoebox PC, which can be sited in an electrical cabinet very close to where the PLCs or the I/O system is. Inside the shoebox, we can provide an operating system, we can provide Panorama and some configuration files. These would be secrets. This is how the unit can be identified to stop a unit being brought onto the system, which is a ghost, so which is a false unit. We can put a basic application down in there and some edge identification information, which also helps with the authentication of the particular unit. So these can all be provided inside a shoebox PC, and somebody who knows very little about Panorama just needs to know about putting the shoebox into the environment and to connecting it to the network and just making sure that the central team are happy that they can see it and they can communicate with it and it identifies as the unit they were expecting it to be. So bringing these things together makes very easy commissioning. So the edge to service goes a little bit further than just making easy commissioning. It allows the data then to be pushed via an MQTT service, so a central service, into a central hypervision system. This would be done with closed ports at the central location and at the remote location. And so this reduces significantly the amount of ports open on the network in order to be attacked from a cyber secure perspective. You could have thousands of these shoeboxes in. So effectively, you can take what you do in central SCADA services, cut them up into smaller elements and deploy them out to the field. So this maximizes your single system because you can bring together many more elements of an application and manage everything centrally. And you can use one tool to do it, and that is Panorama. So in terms of the management, when we talk about managing, I guess you are used to using the Panorama deployment tool, which allows you to deploy Panorama applications around a network. That's something that we've had for a long time. As I said earlier, we've enhanced this particular tool to become an edge node manager. And this allows the central location to be able to manage not just application and application updates, but the machine updates. This includes the Panorama updates, the operating system updates, etc. So again, this idea of making things much more easier to manage is the idea of bringing in the service node. So again, benefits for everybody is that this can be done with minimizing visits to site, and increases the reliability and the security around the edge elements. Panorama WebHMI. This is where we bring the HTML5 ready WebHMI to Panorama. So this is using the technology that you would use for your banking website or for your airline booking applications, this type of technology, and bringing this into the OT space. Three reasons that make this unique and powerful. The first one is, at the remote end, you only need a browser. So it is purely browser-based, and you can use all the technology around your browser in order to secure the communications, and there's next to no administration to do. We bring the same functionalities across the desktop HMI onto the web client. So this allows a mix of applications. And because we use slightly different technologies between the desktop and the web applications, then we provide a tool which allows you to build the desktop applications and to convert them into the web applications so that you can use them. So the WebHMI, it uses a server at the back end, which would normally sit in a DMZ, although it could sit on a Panorama server as well. If you choose to sit this in a DMZ, then you would be quite in line with the Purdue architecture, which is described in the cybersecurity IEC 62443. However you use it on a Panorama server or in a DMZ, then it's very easy to install. There's no need to know how to set up IIS or Apache, because when you install Panorama, you install the server for this. This technology completely follows the IT service rules. So whatever the IT policy is for your company, this is the rules that you would use. There's nothing special that you have to do for Panorama. There is only an internet browser required, so you can go up to any machine at any location, and you can open up a browser, log in, authenticate yourself, connect to the backend web service, and use your SCADA screens. No software installation required at any of those front-end computers. There's one configuration tool, as I mentioned earlier, to create panorama views, and then to use these panorama views in the desktop environment and also in the web environment. And so this brings the full desktop environment to a whole set of users across your organization. The difference in the technologies between the current desktop application and the web application is the web is complete responsive design. So if you've heard that in the world of web technology, it's what we are using. And this brings complete and utter glass independence. So this is great for using with screens which are around your company that you haven't previously set up for displaying OT data, and also for systems such as the previously mentioned edge service nodes that don't have screens, that you can just use a PC that's available to display data from them. And there is no restriction on the size of application that you can use with the WebHMI. It is exactly the same as the Panorama Desktop HMI. The data and the views that you have are the ones that you can see. What do we mean by the responsive design? If you're unfamiliar with this, if we have a look at a panorama view is made up of a series of embedded views. And each of those embedded views could be taken and they could be used on another machine. They could be used in another view. Those of you familiar with Panorama know that. What this actually does is when you create a panorama view at a particular size, then it will truly scale the panorama view into a new device. So if we take a tablet, you could take one of the embedded views that you can see on the screen, and you can transfer that to the tablet, and it will completely scale in its totality to the screen that's on the tablet. So that scaling is what we mean by the responsive design. It responds to the environment that you actually want to use it on. And you could do that with a complete screen or the embedded views from a screen. So there we have it. Create once, use in all the different environments that you want to use your Panorama. This is Panorama's new full web HMI. Another addition to Panorama Suite 2022 is the addition of SIP Voip. So this is the voice over IP, and it's a protocol SIP. This allows a human-to-human voice communications, so the sort of thing you would need if you're dealing with intercom systems, or if you want to make telephone calls from your headsets on a PC through to another operator in another operator room, or to communicate with field service or maintenance engineers. So this allows access to commands, as well as the voice messaging, and it allows the use of SMS as well. And this complements the CCTV functions that we've had in Panorama for a long time. So what this really does is it changes a Panorama workstation into a soft phone. So this allows you to send and receive your audio calls, video messages, send, receive texts, just as you would on your mobile phone. And then when you've got some intelligent equipment like an intercom system to allow somebody through a door, then you can send the appropriate command. Obviously, you have to check in the video and speaking to the person. So all of these functions and features fit perfectly with the Panorama on-call management features. The benefits that this brings are that you can have total access to the external parameters of the Voip world. So we can go and collect information from the directories. So you don't have to have them in Panorama. You can bring them over, and you'll know somebody's telephone number because it's already set up in the Voip server service. There's absolutely no need for a modem. So it doesn't require a modem or any other hardware. It just talks to a back-end VoIP service. You've got the security around the client side, and just like everything else in the IT world these days, the server does not get exposed. It is something that the client will take a message to the server, and then the server will respond. So this brings a whole set of versatile communications for access control, for communications for operators and maintainers, as well as being able to send commands to intelligent pieces of equipment.
So in conclusion, you've got the new customer portal, which is a place for all your licenses and contracts. It's a shared space. You've got a place for third-party software, and also the opportunity to upload application templates. It's future-proof with regards to a place to manage renewals, maintenance, and the evolution of the product. Innovation in edge to service, WebHMI, and SIP Voip. So in the future, we'll probably have some more webinars upcoming, but just to give you a bit of a flavor as to what's in the pipeline, we've got a cybersecurity, our next accreditation for ONSI, and also coming in the product is IC 62443, BACnet BTL, and also a renewal of OPC for version 1.04. One of the things that is actually being removed from Panorama Suite 2022 in the future, and it's been coming for a while, is DCOM. So we're going to be removing that in due time. We'll give you updates as and when we do that. There'll be a complete rebuild of Panorama Suite 2022, Panorama Studio, and also some changes to the customer portal. So we'll be adding automated tasks. We'll be linking more systems together, and there'll just be more and more developments coming in the portal as it's launched and as we do some small and significant changes. So thanks very much for joining us this morning. I've been James Burgess. With me was Chris Cox. And if you do need any help or you have any questions at all, please fire them through to us at sales-panorama@codra.fr. That's a centralized email address that goes to all of us. So it's good to send something there if you haven't got our personal address. And then give us a call on 0161 955 4460 or any of our mobiles, which I'm sure you've got. So we're always happy to talk to integrators and end users, and whether that's standing alongside you with putting together proposals, customer meetings, just contact us. We're always happy to help. And then if you want to follow us on LinkedIn, we've got our Codra Software UK specific showcase page. Just follow us at, and you can read along the bottom there, just Codra UK, and you'll be able to find us. So if you've got any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them now. But if not, send us an email and we'll talk to you soon. Does anybody have the first question?